So Alice is it's a film that is it's let's see who directed it. It's the woman who directed it. Her name is Kristen Verlinden. Alice is starts out at it's on a plantation, and it's there's of course the white slave masters are horrible. All the black slaves are working on the plantation, and Alice is she's learned to read, and she's smart enough that the master will let her come into the plantation home. Right, she can work in the home, which is considered status among slaves. Well, things get a little too far. The master of the house, played by Johnny Lee Miller, is very violent, and she fights back. She fights back and witnesses some horrific things, and just runs. She just desperately runs away from this plantation. And as she's running, she's almost hit by a car. And you come to real, and she's picked up by almost hit by a truck driven by this guy. Common actually is the actor in this. He's just a truck driver, kind of an activist and whatnot, and he picks up Alice, and she's in her clothes from the plantation. You come to realize that this plantation is secret, and it's 1973. It's the present day, but they've kept this plantation a secret and running like it's like it's the days of slavery in America. Really, it's a cool concept that happens about 30 minutes into the film. Is this big reveal that you find out that it's like, hey, it's present day. It's in the trailer, or I would not have ruined it. It's almost it's not really played like a Twilight Zone kind of thing, like M. Night Shyamalan. It's it's just sort of matter of fact. And then what's cool about this film, what I really loved, is Alice is kind of like, there's a lot of fish out of water stuff, right? I would liken it to, this is bad, Crocodile Dundee, but but just like, I mean, no, I mean in a good way of just like, hey, like dealing with like modern stuff, and she's like doesn't know what a lighter is. She doesn't know how a phone works. She doesn't have a last name. She's struggling with her identity. And I will say this, having heard the beginning part of this, you think, oh, this is some preachy, political social justice thing. No, this movie is a straight up blaxploitation movie. And it really takes that turn when she's looking at like images of, this is 1973, right? So she's looking at images of women on like Ebony magazine, on the covers of magazines. And she even goes with Common to see a movie, and she sees, I do know the name of the movie that's in there. It looks like Cleopatra Jones, or just like some.
I think so, yeah. I mean, Pam Grier becomes like the motivation,
right? So
for her in the third act.
Yeah, she goes to basically see a Pam Grier like blaxploitation movie, and she's watching the movie, and now she's got like she's cut off her dreadlocks that she had at the plantation. She's got like this full on, afro, and she's inspired. And she basically kind of starts to dress very funky out of like a blaxploitation movie, like, I don't know, Foxy Brown Coffee. What would be some of the other ones? Cleopatra Jones. I don't know what the movie is she's watching. What is the movie she's watching in the movie? I guess we'll have to do some.
Do some research. I don't remember.
Yeah. But then it just turns into a full-on blaxploitation film where she's like, I'm going to go back to the plantation. I'm going to get my friends. And it's like, it's not, this is the one thing I want to emphasize. The movie isn't preachy. It's not like trying to make a statement about slavery is bad. It's like, we all know, right? It's not preachy. It's just telling the story of this woman trapped on this, like, it's like a time capsule, it's protected, and she's a badass. And I love it because blaxploitation, like, if you look at the genre, there have been some documentaries about blaxploitation films. There are classic ones that you can see. I mean, they're all very cheesy, and every single one of the blaxploitation movies, they always work in some political message, but it's very much underneath the surface, while while it, there's like nudity and sex and super violence, over the top violence. This movie, there's not a lot of sexiness. I think that's it's sort of devoid of that, but the violence is like right
Mhm.
up there. It's like, yeah, Alan, what did you think? You saw Alice.
Yeah.
I,
You
I,
know,
I loved it. Let me just say, I
yeah,
loved.
I loved it too. I have a qualm which I'll bring up, but I should mention Kiki Palmer plays Alice.
Yes,
Um,
yes, she was great.
okay.
She was great.
So I liked it a lot. My issue though is, that big plot point is put out in all the marketing. So right when you walk in, you know that she's on a plantation, but this is the 1970s. And so I think a lot of the first act, and it goes on for about half an hour to
Right.
40 minutes, where you just know where this is ultimately going. And so it was a little distracting in a sense where it's like, when are we going to get to the good part? Because there's a lot of setup. But I think, having said that now, there's a lot of Juneteenth vibes to this. The
Right.
idea that here's a group of slaves who don't know they're free, and I think that plays out very well in the movie, especially to the point where Alice realizes that she's been free all this time, and there's a whole scene of that revelation where it's, the acting, it goes on for several minutes and it's all in her face, and it's just
Right.
really amazing. And yeah, and the ending, it's very
Don't
kick-ass
give
at
away
the
the
end.
ending. Don't give away the ending. It's
Well, I mean,
there's going to be there's going to be a reckoning. But
yes.
but that scene that you're talking about is really cool because she's educating herself about like the history that she missed, right? Like she's been free all this time. She's now educating herself on history. She learns who Abraham Lincoln is, and but just to be clear, it's not done in a preachy way. It's all in
Yeah.
service of the story and the character, and it's a modern blaxploitation movie, and bring that genre back. And Common is very good in this. And I do love also like all of the night. It's very 1973,
Mhm.
like from the magazines to the music to like, I mean, this would actually like pair well with X. Like, X, you've got your horror, you've got your blaxploitation. I mean, these are movies like that are from a bygone era, right? Like they don't
Yeah.
technically make blaxploitation films, but they should. My only thing is that there should have been some sex in this. There should have been some, because that was a big part of the blaxploitation genre. So
Yeah, I mean, there were implications of it. The idea
yeah,
in the first act where the domestics had to they were running out of them, so they had to procreate. Uh
right. They have additional duties, is what it's
yes.
implied, but it's not done. I mean, it's like, yeah, I find those scenes like kind of hard to watch. It's just like, I find that stuff like difficult to export. The way that it pays off is so well
Mhm.
done. It's great. So strong recommendation for Alice. Let's get some go into our chat here.
Yeah.
Coffee with Pam Greer. I don't know if Spidey Sensei 72 is saying that might have been the
That
movie.
might have been the movie.
It might have been the film within the film. And Bill 4392 says, "Yeah, I'm surprised Chris hasn't seen the trailer for the Black Phone or hasn't even heard of it." I don't know everything, Bill. I don't know everything.
I
So
bet you we posted the poster of
I'll
it
bet there's a
on our
review of
Instagram.
it, like, or something. I mean, we cover so much stuff. We just
Yeah.
like, you
But
have
it's got a
no
good
idea.
poster. It's got a good poster.
Look, if you're a filmmaker and you want to get your movie reviewed, just go to Film Threat. There's a little button that says submit. You can just send your movie to us, and we get hundreds of reviews, hundreds of movies submitted a month. We review maybe 150 a month, just because that's our sort of resources, what we're able
Yeah.
to do. But there you go. Someone mentioned in the chat the movie The Village, right? Yeah, right here.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean, that's the vibe I got right from the beginning.
yeah,
This is the
Kefka
villain.
did nothing wrong. So The Village, this is way better. The Village, it's sort of like that's the reveal. The reveal happens much earlier in this film. It's like the end of Act One is the reveal, and then what happens to this character, right? She's at an advantage that Alice can read, so that already puts her ahead of the game. And then when she's picked up by this truck driver played by Common, like her life takes a different turn. So The Village was okay, and it's like once you know the reveal, that's it. The
Yeah, the
reveal,
reveal had nothing to really pertinent to the story that was told up until that point.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
just a
So
reveal.
So there you go. But yeah, like someone mentions Teom 123 says undercover brother. Yeah, like that's sort of a modern I guess you could call that a modern blaxploitation. Black Dynamite says Teom 123 again. There you go. So and he also says they used to hire literal prawn stars to film scenes. Makes sense. So yeah, no, it's I really yeah, and here we go. Geek Truth 64. I don't know everything. Still Chris Gore from I'm just saying I admit the world of film is so big. Like I know a lot about parts of it, but this is why film is an ongoing conversation. So there you go. Nick Jones cracking open a Faygo. Cheers, Chris. Hey, Faygo. I know that. I know what you're talking about there. There's a little reference in there. Faygo, it's not just about Faygo the drink. It's a lifestyle. We're talking about ICP here, folks, Insane Clown Posse. So there you go. And Cameron Belt says, that's fine. Go back and look at my original comment. I asked if there was more to the movie. You're talking about you're talking about X or Alice? Yes. All you had to do was say, yeah, there's more to it than the trailer showed. Yes, true. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm behind. I'm just
Where's that from my comment?
On the comments. So my apologies. And Bill 439 says, yeah, I wasn't impressed with The Village. Me either. It's like once you know the twist, you actually don't need to see the movie because then you know it. It doesn't, it's not something that is going to hold up with to repeated viewings. Bill also asks, anyone seen Panama with Mel Gibson? No, but I think, do we have a screener of that, Alan? I think we do.
I don't remember seeing it, but
and then Tim 123 says, I do know that, Chris Gore. So and Geek Truth 64, it's important to admit what you don't know. Fear the man who says he knows everything because he truly knows nothing. Yeah, I could say something like, I am the movies. I am the movies. If you're against me, you're against movies. I think if I said something like that, you'd probably think I was an arrogant, pompous ass. But I like to think I'm not that. I like to think that film is a conversation we all have together, and everyone has something to contribute, even if it's just your opinion. I think it's important to have the conversation. So I thank you all for your comments. And let's see. Gabriel says, The Village is clearly too sophisticated for you guys. And he says he's just kidding. And Geek True 64, The Village is a masterpiece compared to The Last Airbender.
Oh, absolutely.
Movies, movies, movies.